Oke guys, pagi ini saya sedang bersama dengan anak muda ini. Nih teman namanya Siraj. Tidak sekedar Siraj, tapi Siraj bin Rifvi Awad ya. Teman-teman mungkin pernah tahu dulu kita punya saudara di Jakarta ini. Beliau adalah duta besar Palestina untuk Indonesia selama 14 tahun. Namanya Yang Mulia Rifvi Awad. Nah, ini Siraj adalah anaknya.
How are you?
How are you, Siraj?
Alhamdulillah kabar baik.
Kabar baik ya. Siraj, lahir di Jakarta ya?
Lahir di Jakarta.
Ya, nanti kita setelah ini lihat rumah yang dulu ya.
Siap.
Tapi sebelumnya mungkin Siraj bisa cerita sedikit tentang Siraj dan kehidupan sehari-hari. Pakai batiknya bagus banget.
Terima kasih. Ini merupakan hadiah dari tahun yang dulu. Saya lahir tahun 2002, Juni 28. Dulu pada saat bapak saya masih bertugas di Indonesia, beliau melewati masa 5 Presiden Indonesia, Yang Mulia Pak Harto, Yang Mulia Pak B.J. Habibie, Yang Mulia Gus Dur, Yang Mulia Bu Megawati, dan Yang Mulia Bapak SBY. Setelah itu beliau selesai tugas 2006.
Ya.
Beliau tahun 2007 kembali ke Arab Republik Mesir, yang kebetulan juga beliau pernah bertugas sebagai duta besar juga pada saat itu 1972 sampai dengan 1979.
Ya.
Saya pada saat 2007 itu,
Ya.
kami sekeluarga, we went with him to the Arab Republic of Egypt. Kami sekolah di yang namanya Indonesian School in Cairo, Sekolah Indonesia Cairo, yang di bawah KBRI Cairo.
Siraj, how can you speak bahasa Indonesia very fluent?
Ya, ibu saya orang Makassar.
Oh, your mother is from Makassar.
Yes,
Yeah. So your mother, your father, they met in Jakarta.
I met in Jakarta.
Di mana persisnya ketemu?
Ya, ada di Jakarta Pusat.
Jakarta Pusat ketemunya. Ya. Berapa bersaudara Siraj?
Saya ada satu adik perempuan,
Adik perempuan lahir tahun
tahun 2003,
juga di Jakarta berarti ya.
juga di Jakarta.
Siraj, kehidupan sekarang kamu sehari-hari ngapain Siraj?
Ya, selain bantu keluarga, saya koordinasi sedikit. Saya juga aktif dalam Fatah.
Oh, di Fatah.
Fatah.
Oh, dulu ayah juga salah seorang senior Fatah ya.
Betul. Beliau 1967 di Fatah, Mesir.
Bergabung dengan Fatah di Mesir.
Betul.
Ya. Dan dulu bertemu dengan Presiden Arafat, beliau juga di Mesir pertama kali atau di Kuwait.
Sempat di Kuwait, betul juga, tapi secara jaringan informal itu Fatah Mesir kebanyakan ketemu di Cairo University
Oh,
dulu.
ya. Nah, jadi sekarang selain itu kamu kuliah ya? Kuliah.
Betul, saya kuliah di Cairo University, Fakultas Ekonomi dan Ilmu Politik.
Sudah semester berapa?
Insya Allah sekarang saat ini semester 6.
Semester 6.
Ya.
Kalau adik
Adik saya insya Allah akan mulai kuliah di Jakarta.
di Jakarta.
Ya.
Oke. Lah, sekarang kenapa ada di Jakarta, Siraj? Kalau kuliah di Mesir?
Jadi waktu itu almarhum
Oh, ayah
beliau
sudah meninggal dunia.
sudah meninggal 2022. Setelah itu untuk mengurus proses berkas administratif, karena ibu saya warga negara Indonesia, kami balik dulu ke Indonesia
Pulang dulu ke Indonesia.
2023.
Oke.
Alhamdulillah sekarang semua administratif selesai. Sekarang saya ada kesempatan kembali lagi ke Arab Republik Mesir.
Untuk melanjutkan studi.
Betul.
Oke. Nah, coba kamu pegang dulu, biar saya yang ngomong. Oke guys, kita tidak punya kamerawan, jadi ya ganti-gantian. Jadi ini agak menarik ya, pertemuan saya dengan Siraj ini agak menarik. Saya dengan Dubes Ribi Awad dulu berteman ya. Tentu beliau punya banyak teman dari kalangan wartawan, tapi saya kira saya dan Yang Mulia Ribi Awad almarhum memiliki hubungan yang spesial dan unik dan juga lucu dan menegangkan sebetulnya.
Pesanan baru diterima.
Ya, karena dulu
Pesanan baru diterima. Pesan
karena dulu itu ada sponsor sedikit ya. Jadi dulu itu waktu saya berkarir sebagai wartawan, baru memulai sebagai wartawan, Dubes Ribi Awad ini adalah dubes asing pertama yang saya wawancarai. Dan wawancara itu kami lakukan di Kedutaan Besar Palestina yang lama, bukan yang baru sekarang. Nah, nanti saya dan Siraj akan ke sana, dan kebetulan Siraj juga lahir di tempat itu ya. Nah, cerita tentang saya dan Dubes Ribi Awad nanti saya lanjutkan, dan bagaimana kami bertemu dengan Siraj juga nanti akan saya lanjutkan. Oke, baik guys. Cukup dulu sampai sini, setelah ini kita jalan ke sana.
Sampai jumpa.
Okay, now we are already in the car. We are heading to the how can I say the former embassy of Palestine.
Jalan Pangeran Diponegoro
Ya,
nomor
it's
59.
di Jalan Pangeran Diponegoro nomor 59. Dulu Siraj lahir di rumah atau di rumah sakit?
Di rumah sakit.
Rumah sakit apa? Masih ingat?
Rumah sakit MMC.
Oh, MMC Kuningan.
Ya.
Kalau adik
Kalau tidak salah juga di tempat yang
di tempat yang sama. Oke, ya. Jadi SD dulu di Jakarta.
SD dulu pernah di Mesir, setelah itu di Jakarta juga. Jadi yang saya ingat waktu itu SD, SMP, dan juga sempat SMA itu bolak-balik Arab Republik Mesir dengan Republik Indonesia.
Oke. Kita ke arah Jalan Diponegoro, nanti turun di Jalan Surabaya. Ya. Oke. Jadi berapa lama dulu SD-nya di sini?
Ya sempat beberapa tahun.
Beberapa tahun, dari
Ya.
kelas 1.
Betul,
Jadi waktu tahun 2008 ya, ayah pindah ke Mesir tahun 2008.
betul.
Itu kamu kelas berapa?
Waktu itu masih 2 atau 3.
SD?
Ya.
Oh, masih kecil sekali ya.
Ya.
Oke, saya bertemu terakhir dengan Dubes Ribi Awad itu tahun 2007
Di Jakarta Selatan.
di Jakarta Selatan. Kalau tidak salah itu bulan Juni. Bulan Juni atau bulan Juni rasanya itu, karena beliau kasih saya buku. Coba kamu ke arah saya. Ya, jadi Dubes Ribi Awad kasih saya 2 buku. Satu buku judulnya Saya dan Arafat. Ya, itu kisah-kisah kecil. Bukunya kecil juga, warna hijau covernya. Covernya tuh foto Dubes Ribi Awad dan Presiden Yasir Arafat. Judulnya Saya dan Yasir Arafat. Itu buku pertama. Kemudian buku kedua judulnya Red Button. Itu yang nulis ibu ya?
Betul.
Ibu yang nulis ya, tentang ayah juga sebetulnya ya. Jadi semacam
Lebih pribadi.
lebih personal. Oke. Itu dalam bahasa Inggris. Kalau buku yang pertama tadi itu dalam bahasa Indonesia. Nah, di kedua buku itu Dubes Ribi Awad menulis tanggal ya. Jadi kalau saya tidak salah ingat itu bulan Juni tahun 2007. Nah, setelah pertemuan itu ya saya nggak pernah ketemu lagi dengan Dubes Ribi Awad. Terakhir saya berusaha untuk menghubungi pas di era pandemi dulu lah gitu, dan sempat dapat nomor beliau tuh, Siraj, dari teman kita di Kedutaan Besar Indonesia di Kairo, tapi tidak sempat berkomunikasi langsung. Dan kemudian saya mendengarkan kabar duka di bulan Februari tahun 2022 ayahanda meninggal dunia ya. Insyaallah amal kebaikannya diterima Allah Subhanahu wa taala dan dosa-dosanya diampuni. Amin. Oke, jadi kita sekarang sudah berada di jalan Diponegoro ya, menuju ke kedutaan besar Palestina yang lama, gedung yang lama itu nanti di sebelah kiri, persis di dekat stasiun Cikini. Kalau yang sekarang di
Jalan Kimangun Sarkoro.
Kimangun Sarkoro,
Ya, nomor 64.
nomor 64 ya, itu sekarang bagus ya. Ini ada menarik ini. Kalau saya baca buku itu, Siraj, buku yang warna hijau itu,
Ya.
sempat ada satu kisah ketika Palestina mengalami mengalami masalah keuangan ya.
Betul.
Dan
Pada saat waktu
kemudian
itu
gimana?
ada instruksi dari Yang Mulia Bapak Presiden Yasser Arafat karena ketidaksanggupnya untuk manage financial kedutaan diplomatik, mission diplomatik di
Iya.
seluruh dunia. Itu satu persatu banyak kedutaan Palestina mulai tutup. Tetapi Republik Indonesia saat waktu itu bantu pada saat zaman Presiden kedua,
Pak Harto ya.
Harto.
Ya.
dan oleh karena itu misi diplomatiknya tetap
Tak
buka
berlangsung di
sampai
Jakarta.
saat ini.
Oke. Dan itu yang bicara ke almarhum Dubes Ribiawat, kalau tidak salah siapa?
Pak Bambang Trihatmojo.
Oh, beliau yang menyampaikan kabar bahwa kedutaan Palestina di Jakarta jangan ditutup. Kalau memang tidak ada kemampuan finansial, Indonesia akan mensupport. Now we already in Jalan Surabaya ya,
Oh ya, ini menuju Jalan Pangeran Diponegoro ini.
menuju Pangeran Diponegoro. Oke.
Langsung ke kiri
Kita mau kemana?
ke gedung kedutaan yang lama.
Kedutaan yang lama. Oke. Siraj,
Yes sir.
Anda tahu ini gedung apa?
Oh ya, ini DPP PDIP.
Hah? DPP.
Ya, dulu pas saya masih kecil masih sama gedungnya.
Sama.
Dan di sampingnya ada juga DPP P3 ya.
P3 ya. Oke.
Samping Diponegoro 59 ada juga rumah Yang Mulia Bung Hatta.
Ini rumah Pak Hatta, Bung Hatta.
Ya,
Oh, kamu tetangga dengan Bung Hatta?
betul. Ya, 5 detik lagi kami sudah sampai ini.
Oke. Is there any bell?
No sir.
So how can we get inside?
Nanti ada Bapak Widya yang
So
beri.
he knows that we are here.
Oh iya.
Oh yeah, it's
I'll have-
coming. It's
I'll have-
coming.
okay.
Assalamualaikum Pak. Yeah. So
This is the old embassy building. My family and I used to live here. The second floor.
in the second floor for the family.
Oh iya. Kalau untuk lantai pertama untuk misi diplomatik.
Oke.
Apa ini?
Saya sahabat.
Oh.
Karena beliau mau pulang ke Mesir,
Oh,
minta tolong saya untuk ambilkan gambar. Ya, nggak apa-apa ya?
Nggak apa.
Oh ya. Ya. Oh. Look at the logo.
Oh yes sir, it's still here sir.
Yeah, it's still here.
Safara Dawla Palestine Jakarta. Embassy of the State of Palestine.
So the family was living in the second floor,
Yes sir.
and the embassy in the first floor.
Yes sir. There was a post, I believe the consul was on this left side, the headquarters of it.
They have what?
The consulate,
The consulate. Oh, for the visa.
I believe so. Yes.
Oh, okay.
This was more for meet and greeting guests.
Oh yeah.
And yes. On the right side, you can see that Sikini station is very nearby here. On the right side, yes.
Oh, okay.
This is a very old memory.
So it is just like before. I mean, this side
More or less the same, yes.
more or less the same. Sekarang buat apa nih Pak?
Itu rumah kosong.
Rumah kosong.
Kosong. Kita jaga. Kita dari Pertamina.
Ah,
Kita diambil alih oleh Pertamina dan kita suruh jaga aset Pertamina.
oh. Ya mungkin nanti mau dibangun buat mes atau apa gitu ya?
Nah, nggak tahu juga ya.
Ya. Kalau kedutaan baru,
Harus lewat jalan protokol
oh
ke
ya.
belakang jalan Kimangun Sempurna.
Yeah, so after this we go to the new embassy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Nah, you take this.
Okay.
Ya, jadi friend, teman-teman, saya masih ingat dulu saya kira bulan September atau Oktober. Jadi tidak lama setelah peristiwa 9/11, saya datang ke gedung ini, ke kedutaan Palestina, mencoba untuk mengadu untung, ya. Semoga bisa diterima wawancara dengan Dubes Ribi Awad ketika itu. Nah, saya masih ingat, saya ketuk pintu seperti tadi juga tuh. Saya ketuk pintu, saya kira bakal sulit masuk. Rupanya diperbolehkan masuk tuh, oh Pak Widi. Nah, terus saya masuk ke sini aja nih. Ayo. Saya masuk ke sini. Ini kan langsung ruang tunggu. Ya kan? Iya. Langsung ruang tunggu. Ruang tunggu di sini. Nah, terus tidak lama Pak Dubes, maksudnya tidak lama Pak Dubes datang, terus saya dibawa masuk ke dalam ruangan itu. Nah, di situ ruang tamu, di situ wawancaranya gitu. Nah, tapi yang saya mau sampaikan, setelah wawancara itu terjadi, kemudian Dubes Ribi Awad bilang begini ke saya, waduh saya lupa untuk merekam juga pembicaraannya, nanti saya nggak punya dokumen, kopi, saya pinjam dulu deh katanya gitu. Nah, terus saya kasih tuh kaset ya, kaset, masih main kaset tahun 2001. Terus saya bilang oke, nggak apa-apa Pak Dubes, berapa lama saya harus balik kembali ke sini? Pak Dubes bilang 1 jam lagi. Jadi 1 jam saya muter-muter gitu. Setelah 1 jam saya balik untuk ngambil kaset tadi. Tapi Pak Dubes bilang, waduh ini setelah saya dengar ulang ada beberapa hal yang kelihatannya tidak boleh saya sampaikan ini untuk publik gitu ya. Jadi intinya beliau akhirnya menahan kaset itu dan saya pulang dengan tangan kosong. Nah, kisah ini ada saya tulis di buku saya Bulldozer dari Palestina, yaitu tentang saya dan Dubes Ribi Awad gitu ya. Oke. Jadi Siraj, kembali ke kamu. Jadi kamu di sini sampai kelas 2 SD berarti ya?
Kalau tidak salah ya.
Kelas 2 SD dan kemudian kalian kembali ke Mesir.
Ya.
Nah, sekarang setelah ayahanda meninggal, apa yang paling kamu ingat dari sosok ayah, sosok Dubes Ribi Awad?
He was a very courageous man.
Ya.
He would always persevere and always fight for the political and national freedoms of the Palestinian people. That quality he never lost until the end of his life.
So he did tell you all stories about his experience
Many stories, yes, many experiences.
when he was still in Palestine, then Kuwait, and then Egypt.
Egypt, Nairobi, Kenya. And,
So all the stories and the books you already know.
yes, sir.
So what is the most story that you think that it has influence in you from your father?
Most probably when 14 years he was serving here in Indonesia, 1992 until 2006. He told me the stories about how attached the Indonesian people and how committed they were to the Palestinian cause. Now I see that as very, very large motivation. Also as an example that he spread the great positive impact on how Indonesian people see the Palestinian cause today and how they can still push forward it in their minds up until now. That's one of the most biggest influences, most big examples that I can see until now.
And you still see it in today.
I still see up until now, and it is very grassroots. If you can really you analyze it, this is really it's Indonesian culture at this
So
point.
everywhere you go, you feel welcome by the people.
Oh yes, sir. This tidak bisa dilupakan.
Okay. So you left Indonesia in 2008 or 9.
If I'm not mistaken, it must have been 2009.
Okay, and then since that, have you been back to Indonesia?
Oh yes, we've been back many times, infrequently,
With your father?
with father, mother, and sister.
Oh, okay.
So it's always been back abroad, back abroad, back abroad. Yes,
Mostly you stay in Jakarta or in Makassar?
mostly in Jakarta.
In Jakarta.
Yes.
Have you been to Makassar?
I have never been to Makassar.
You never been to
No,
Makassar?
sir. No.
So you okay? So you.
Keluarga sudah merantau dari Makassar ke Jakarta.
Oh, so your grandmother
So everyone already merantau.
already merantau in Jakarta.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So now your mother in Jakarta, yeah?
Yes,
Okay. What she's doing now?
she's helping family.
Helping business, family business. yeah?
Family business. Yeah.
Okay. And Siraj, of course, we cannot keep ourselves nowadays out of the context of Palestinian struggle.
Yep.
In today's era. Yeah. How do you see the future of Palestine?
We hope one day, first of all, in present times now, we hope there will be ceasefire. There will be ceasefire, the stoppage of all of this aggression. Secondly, inshallah, we will see further unity, further reconciliation between all the Palestinian factions, all of these groups coming together. And thirdly, a real concrete plan of sovereignty, of really independence. This is really what's the main point. Yes, the Algiers declaration, it was point by point very strong, but up until today, the Israeli aggression, they don't listen to what's happening around the international community. They just keep on going and going. This is no way. They don't like to listen, and therefore, really, we hope to see more further push as well from the international community in handling all of this.
Yeah, I think one of the weakness of Palestinian struggle, I think, is the fragmentation among the elite. You agree with this?
From my own experience, I am unable to say for now, sir, but there is, how do I say this? If there is ceasefire until now, for Gaza, for all, this can be further contemplated upon in the future.
And you say that nowadays you are involving actively in Fatah.
That's true, sir.
What's your role?
I am sebagai direktur fungsionaris untuk koordinasi. So coordination among Fatah members and some of the Indonesian political community in advancing this Palestinian liberation cause.
So we have Fatah representative in Jakarta,
Yes,
officially
sir.
now,
There are.
and you are a part of them.
Yes, sir.
So if you are coming back to Egypt, continuing study, I mean, you will be absent in Jakarta. What will you do in Egypt?
I hope to also be active in Fatah's center in Egypt as well, inshallah.
I want to ask you this. I don't know whether it is too hard or not, but seems like, actually I already mentioned it earlier, seems like the unity of Fatah and Hamas is needed now.
So firstly, it's been signed in the Beijing Declaration, Fatah, Hamas, and all other factions, that there will be how do I say, a Gaza interim government to handle all of these. So that's been signed, that's been agreed upon between Fatah, Hamas, and all the other factions.
And you are confident with the result of Beijing
Oh
conference?
yes, we're all confident, but this does not mean that the dialogue stops. There needs to be further more agreements between Fatah, Hamas, and all the other factions to be more united.
Okay, okay. Okay, Siraj, now we move on to the new embassy, as it is a part of your life. By the way, you feel more Palestinian or Indonesian now?
Saya setengah Palestina, setengah Makassar. You can take it at any way you'd like.
Okay, okay.
This is the new embassy building in
This is the new
Jalan
embassy.
Kimangun Sarkoro nomor 64.
You look there. You saw me. You saw me. Look this. So this is not the entrance. This is not the regular entrance, yeah.
The entrance is from the left side.
From the left side, from that side. Oh, this is the entrance. Yeah.
This is the entrance. It can be opened through the doorbell.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I myself,
You've been here.
yeah, I've been here even more than the previous embassy. But I don't think that we have to get inside today. Yeah.
I see.
Okay. Okay. So then we finish our journey. And what would you like to say before we finish this trip?
Bapak Dr. Teguh Santosa, sir, you are and have always been, I could say, taken deep passion interest in the Palestinian development. We always thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Siraj.
May long live the relations of Palestine and Indonesia.
Inshallah, amin.
Inshallah, amin. Amin ya rabbal alamin.
Siraj, what are you thinking?
I always like to learn more about the Palestinian National Liberation Movement, formerly the Fatah Group.
Fatah Group. But before that, you are Indonesian citizen, yeah?
I am an Indonesian citizen, yes.
So your passport is Indonesian passport.
Ever since birth, yes. Which is why I was able to do the Paskibra in the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Egypt.
When was that?
I believe that was 2020.
2020. Oh, okay. Okay. Now, we back to what you said just now, that you are thinking about how the
I'm thinking about the history of Fatah and how it has shaped the dynamics of the Palestinian cause in the whole world, globally.
what your father said to you about his involvement in Fatah.
His involvement in Fatah started at a very young age. I believe when he was 26 years old. It would be around 1966 or 1967, if I'm not mistaken. Right after he finished his studies in political science, he was tasked, first of all, to be trained militarily in Middle East countries. But the main foundation, the underlying principles, was when he headed the Fatah, the bureau office in Egypt back then. This is when he gained his very first political experiences, and extending from that, the further diplomatic missions.
And your father, he knew Yasser Arafat personally.
He knew Yasser Arafat from a very young age, yes.
So they
Abu
just-
Ammar, yes.
And they just like close friends.
They're if we could say, more than close friends, yes. Lebih dari sahabat.
Okay, they are bestie.
Yes, sir. It could be mentioned that way.
Yeah. And your father entered Fatah, you said, in when he was 26.
Around that time,
Yeah,
yes.
around that time, and then he was in military training for Fatah.
There was model military training, just a simple basic one, but after that, the cause of the Palestinian liberation is political. So after that, the main focus was Egypt, where there have been lots of Palestinian refugees at the time. Many students, so my father coordinated, for example, for Palestinian young people to enter into education. He made sure that they had seats in the universities for them. Dalam kata lain, ada beasiswa untuk mahasiswa-mahasiswa Palestina tersebut biar bisa masuk universitas di Mesir. Itu salah satu perjuangan beliau dari situ.
And then your father became one of the ambassador of Palestinian in many countries.
In many countries afterwards.
Can you name him?
Sure. So he was first of all. It must be differentiated that after Fatah rose to prominence, it was more formalized to the head of the PLO. So he served as the head of the PLO office in Egypt. Afterwards, he became, for a time being ambassador at Finland, and then afterwards in Nairobi, Kenya, and after many years afterwards, he became the ambassador of the state of Palestine to the Republic of Indonesia.
And this is his last position.
His last position and his longest, 14 years, 1992 sampai dengan 2006.
I think it was because Fatah lost in the election in 2006.
So Fatah lost the legislative elections in
Legislative.
2006, and at that time, if I'm not wrong, the history was that because elements would be controlled by the Palestinian Islamic Resistance Movement, Hamas, so therefore it would be that they would control many aspects of the missions abroad. Therefore, which is why Fatah elements would be recalled back for a time.
Including your father.
That is true, yes.
I'm still get confused here. I mean, if you're talking about Palestinian effort cause to get, of course you are free country. I believe that you are free country because
We are free but still occupied.
yeah, you are free but still
Free,
occupied.
perhaps free in the sense of paper. Yes, the UN has admitted us as still observer member.
Yeah.
But when we look at the West Bank, we look at Gaza. So in the West Bank side, it is called the settlement colonial projects.
Yeah.
This is where they take land slowly by slowly and slowly. From Gaza side, it is obstruction. It is like hell in Gaza. So if we say we are free, kurang tepat sebenarnya.
Okay. So from your point of view, what is the real difference between Fatah and Hamas?
So Fatah, we could say that first of all, the relationship between Fatah and Hamas, for the very first time beings, perhaps it went well. There was a good working relationship between Abu Omar and Sheikh Ahmad Yassin. He was an elderly man in a wheelchair at that time. So perhaps it is because Fatah may have more focus in the liberal secular side, and Hamas may have more leaning towards the religious aspect. But make no mistake, even in the face of these two groups, the Israeli make no differentiation. This is why we always urge many of the groups, many of the factions, to reunite against one common enemy. This is the main point.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, they already met in Beijing.
They met in Beijing, and yes, even if it was a major declaration being signed, this does not mean that the dialogue stops there. At the same time, we should always expect further future negotiations in order to complete a full circle, suatu orbit persatuan yang lebih memuaskan.
This is part of what I've been thinking due to the Beijing negotiation. Yeah.
Yes.
Because these days we are in the trap of China and US.
Well, right after the Beijing negotiations, there was also, for a time being, negotiations held in Qatar, and afterwards in Cairo again. But it was more of not unity negotiations, but more towards ceasefire negotiations. It should be differentiated. There are two categories always on the table. One, if you are interested in this, which is negotiations of unity, reconciliation aspect, and two, negotiations for a ceasefire.
Okay, for ceasefire it is in Qatar.
It
right?
was, I believe, 2 weeks or less held in Qatar. So Hamas wanted themselves to be represented by a third party, Qatar at that time.
So Qatar as a representative
Qatar as a
of
representative
the whole Palestinian movements
for the Islamic resistance for Hamas.
for Hamas.
It was more of a negotiation of ceasefire between
Hamas and Israel.
and Israel, as well as the US at the time. And then it moved to Cairo.
And in that conversation, where is Fatah position?
So, for right now, the time being, Fatah considers Hamas as part of the Palestinian national fabric. They are our brothers. But we repeat again, Israel makes no differentiation, which is why always Fatah, Hamas, and all PFLP, BFLP, all the other movements should unite under one Palestinian umbrella organization, which is the PLO. This is why we've always urged persatuan kembali ke PLO.
And Hamas was a part of PLO before.
I believe they have never been.
They have never been in PLO.
part of PLO.
But now we are in the last part of our what can we say? Our journey for today.
Our adventure.
Our adventure for today. Okay, anything you would like to add, please?
دكتور تقو سنتوسا شكرا جزيلا حضرتك محترم جدا محترم جدا جدا شكرا جزيلا